Hi, it's Ian. Welcome back to my 30 Days of Knife Skills. Today is day 16, and we are working with avocados. So I've had this one for several days, and sometimes it's hard to tell with avocados what it's going to look like until you cut into it. And I feel like right now when I'm feeling this, there's a little space between the outside and the inside. So this one might be a little past ripe, but we'll see what it looks like on the inside. So this is pretty simple. I think everybody does the same exact first cut, which is go around through all the way this way. I think that one is probably everybody does the same thing. And then usually people take it off, and then whichever side the pit is on, a lot of times it's very common for people to stick your knife into the pit and then take it out and then put it out, which it works for sure, but not my favorite way to do it for a few reasons. One is it's a little bit dangerous if you slip, especially if you're doing it this way. Of course, you could put it on the board, and that would be safer to do it on the board, keeping your fingers out of there. It's also a little bit dangerous if it's stuck on your knife to try to get it off. The best way, of course, would be to try to push it off this way instead of grabbing it from this side. That's a little bit dangerous, especially if you slip. The other reason would be that I don't really like to do that kind of thing to my knife. So my knife is very sharp. It's very thin. And I don't think it would break it, but there is a chance if you didn't quite get it in and the pit was extra hard and you twisted it, there is a chance that you could damage the very end. So it's not my favorite way to do it, and I don't really find a need for myself to just have halves. So I prefer I just made a cut this way, and I'm going to do the same thing after I turn it 90 degrees. So cutting it this way. So now I'm going to get quarters lengthwise. Oh yeah, this one is a little bit past. And then once you have that, you just take off the pit like that. So from here, you could take a spoon like a lot of people do. It's quite common to take a spoon and just scoop it out. Some people do a pre-cut like this and then spoon it out. That's another way to do it. But depending on the variety and the ripeness, I might just, this one is a little bit past. So it's a little bit harder. Sometimes it comes cleanly off the peel with your fingers, and if it doesn't, then maybe with this one, I don't have a spoon with me, but with this one, I think spooning it would be better. So for me, with avocados at this stage, if I'm just going to eat it on a plate, I would just cut it into this kind of shape and then immediately do some kind of acid, usually lime or lemon, or it could be some other kind of acid, like a dressing, salad dressing or something like that. Otherwise, it will oxidize and turn color. So, but almost always, I prefer to smash it up and make guacamole or some kind of variation of something like that. So I always have my mortar and pestle nearby, and usually the first thing I would do is to throw some salt in there and bash that up a little bit, maybe with a spice like a coriander or cumin or something like that, whole spice, or a chili. If I have some fresh chilies, I'll throw in some slices of chili, bash that up, and then I'll just take pieces from these pieces of either you can spoon it out or you can chop it up and put it in there like that. And very, very simply, just mash. And in no time, you get mashed avocado with salty flavor and some chili and some acid. And it's probably my favorite way of eating avocados. Sometimes if I have some tomatoes nearby, then I'll just throw them in. If I have some herbs, it kind of depends on what I have around. Maybe I'll even put in things like miso. or top it with kimchi, or top it with natto, things like that. A lot of different ways to do it. I might have it with tortilla chips, or all different kinds of ways. Could be on bread. It could be on a rice bowl with other toppings. A lot of different things, but that's pretty much the two main ways I do it. This is by far the most common, is to just mash it up in a mortar and pestle. And the other way would be to just slice it up in this quarter shape. I almost never need it in the half shape that initially we had, that half shape that we were talking about. To me, there's no real need to do that. So if I wanted longer slices, then maybe I would take this and go on a bias and cut those and then spoon them out. And then that would provide sort of the same kind of longer slices if I wanted that you could get from a half. So try it out. If you have not done the quartering technique, give it a shot and see if that works for you like it does for me. So that's it for avocado. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you on the next one.